welcome back to The Wealth Whisperer, helping you to move the needle from where you're at right now to where you would love to be in terms of the freedom of lifestyle and the finances to go with it. So today we're diving into a subject which I absolutely love, and there's a quote which I'm going to share with you which kind of encapsulates the content, I guess the context, if you like, of what I'm going to talk about. And that is that money is simply a byproduct of the value that you create for others. So I'm going to read that again. Money is simply a byproduct of the value you create for others. And as one of my old mentors told me, money is silent applause for a job well done. I also love that. So let's think about it for a second. If you think about it, all of the people who have ever invented and come up with an idea that really served other people extraordinarily well have become extraordinarily wealthy. Let's take a few examples because we all know them. So let's start with Henry Ford. Henry Ford was the man who brought the automobile, the car, to the masses, basically. And without him, then other people would not have necessarily been inspired, or it would have taken longer for the car to have been developed, to be provided for, a huge number of people as opposed to the select few. And then after he invented his first car, a lot of other manufacturers got on board and could see the potential and wanted to also bring that service to other people. And hence we now have a proliferation of makes and models of cars in the world. We also have mobile phones and computers. So without Microsoft and Apple and Dell, for example, we would not have computers and mobile phones to be able to talk to each other. So the people who started those businesses, who developed those ideas and put them out into the world, that's created a huge amount of value to people, and therefore they've been recompensed royally for it. That's not to mention also all the high street and online shops that we have. Of course, too many to name, but you know the ones, the really big retailers that, particularly in the UK, we have Sainsbury's, we have Tesco, we have Marks and Spencer's. Online, we have Amazon, eBay. We've got big stores like IKEA. These are household names, and they have been developed decades ago. And the value that they've brought to people's lives has meant that they have grown and grown and grown and grown. And then, of course, you have inspirational people, inspirational individuals who bring their thoughts and their thought leadership to the world. So people like Tony Robbins, Wayne Dyer, Jack Canfield, and obviously there are countless others as well who have all brought inspiration and ideas to the world. And of course, loads of other service providers. So the thing is that the single common theme about all these people is that their ideas started in their own heads. They had an idea in their mind that they could see could benefit others, i.e., bring value to the world. And when you think of it like that, it's actually service to the world, service to other people. And so if you are perhaps in a 9-to-5 role at the moment, or 9-to-5, 8-to-6, whatever role you're in at the moment, and you're thinking to yourself, how can I potentially break free from that? How could I see how I could serve more people or break free from the employed role and start to develop my own idea more? Because you'll find that what you're doing in your role at the moment, you are obviously serving other people within the organisation that you're working in. The role that you are facilitating is incredibly important in that context. However, you are only being recompensed what the company is willing to pay you. The organisation is willing to pay for your service. But you can guarantee that your value is more valuable than what you're being paid. Interesting, because they wouldn't pay you if you didn't make them more money, right? So perhaps there's now a chance for you to sort of switch in your mind and think, if this is something you would like to do, if there's some sort of transition you'd like to make, so that you can find yourself being able to loosen the dependency on that employed role as such, then you've got to think, how can I bring value to the table? How can I start a side hustle, something that's going to bring value to other people? So here's a few little ideas for you. If you love the idea of being able to kind of gently work your way out of an employed role and follow your passion, follow an idea that you know could be of service to others, if you know that you have a gift that you can bring to the world, then this is hopefully a lovely little idea that you can follow. Now, perhaps you already know what it is that you love to do and you really enjoy doing. But if you don't, then perhaps this question can help you. What is it? What's the one thing that you cannot not do every day? That's a really great question. What's the one thing you cannot not do every day because you enjoy it, because it's just you, it's just who you are, it's what you do, you know? I was talking to a friend this morning, which inspired this episode, and she loves every single day to research things. When she gets a recommendation, she can't help but kind of get on the computer or on her phone and kind of dive in and kind of do some research on it and, you know, absorb the information that she's been given, because that's just what she does. She follows her nose in terms of that. And it got me thinking, yeah, actually, that's a really pertinent point, because her role, what she does, is fairly investigative. But it kind of got me thinking, actually, yeah, what's the one thing you love to do? And for example, our son, he loves and knows everything there is to know about motorbikes. He's literally the font of all knowledge. So if he wanted to set up his own little side hustle, you know, it could be helping other people to work out mechanical issues on a motorbike. He could become a mechanic, of course he could, or he could take it online and demonstrate his mechanical abilities by setting up a YouTube channel, for example, helping other people to see how they, you know, take this particular part apart and how they can upgrade it or do things differently and customize and goodness knows what else, and kind of just share his knowledge with people in that way and grow an audience, and then maybe start a little kind of membership site or something like that. You know, that's the sort of little idea that he could pursue if he wanted to, on the one thing that he cannot not do every day, because every day he's on his bike or talking about his bike or working on his bike or researching bikes, right? And for example, when we were actively putting our property portfolio together on a day-to-day basis, I was literally obsessed with property. Hence why, having got to a certain point where I was building the property business and had all the knowledge, hence why I was able to monetize that. So I built an online course called the Property Success Foundation Training Program. And it's an online course which I spent about 18 months building, and I've been able to share with hundreds of people who wanted to start in property, and there's the course, able to sell it to them. Obviously, I then was doing mentoring and coaching as well, and got paid for that. So out of what I loved to do and what I had an interest in doing came the business, Why Property Works, right? And obviously now I can't help but write down inspiring thoughts, right? I have them quite frequently, or when I immerse myself in a course or a book or listening to another podcast, etc. I just, you know, get like little light bulb moments here and there. Hence the podcast, and hence the Freedom Club emerging, and now starting to work more towards public speaking, because this is what I love to do. I've always enjoyed it, and I know that I have value and inspiration to bring to the table. And I know that it helps other people. So that lights me up as well. And it's who I am. It's the common thread, the common theme that's run through my life over the course of time. So perhaps have a think about what it is that you love to do. What is easy for you? What flows for you? Is it a joy? Something that's a joy, not a chore. Because if something is a chore, then if you start up a little side hustle, or you kind of, start to put feelers out there as to, what else you can do with your time and how you can monetize it. If it's a chore, it's not going to last. I'm not talking about something that's going to be effortful for you. This is going to be something that is more effortless, which is in flow for you, something that you really enjoy and love to do. And then simply ask yourself the question, how can I bring value to others doing what I love? I'm going to say that again. How can I bring value to others by doing what I love? And you'll be amazed at the little kind of inspirational thoughts that start to come up in your mind. And I strongly suggest that you start to capture them in a notebook. They can quite often happen last thing at night or first thing in the morning, when the mind is kind of, at its least busy. Yeah. So when you haven't got a million other thoughts running around your head. So when you're kind of at that, was it alpha beta state? I don't know, whatever it is in terms of the mind, the waves, the brain waves. It's where you kind of are a little bit chill and inspirational thoughts just pop into your mind. So perhaps keep a notebook if you want to do this next to your bed for the next week or so, as you're contemplating this question, if this is something which is of interest for you to do. And I can guarantee you're going to come up with maybe a few things that you could look at. And it's just to sort of, sow a little seed as to what might be possible to show you how you can start to at least have the ideas to set something else up on the side. Anyway, I thought I would bring that one to you because it was a great little conversation I had with my friend this morning, and I thought it was worth bringing to this arena so that you can chew on it as well, and perhaps it will inspire you to take some action on following something that you really enjoy, that lights you up, that's also going to help other people. Because believe you me, when there is a gap in the market and you have something that can fill that gap, it's brilliant. I strongly suggest also that if you haven't seen it, there's a brilliant film called, I think it's just called Robots. I'm going to double check that. It's called Robots, and it's about this little robot that invents these really cool things, and it's under the concept of see a need, fill a need. See a need, fill a need. And this little robot is an inventor, basically. And what he loves to do is invent things. And he goes on to, to build these really great little inventions that serve the world. And it's a really fun film. I just remember it from when my son was very young. So, that just popped into my mind at the end there. So hopefully this idea will have inspired you, and from the little inspiration that I got this morning, and has served you well. So let me know how you get on. Perhaps pop a comment below and let me know how you get on with any little inspiring thoughts that may come your way. Until next time.